Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Y and E podcast. Thank you for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and engage with us in the comment section. So it's official. The governor of Osun State, Governor Adeleke, will be going back in for a second term. And this came amidst the landslide victory. You can call it a landslide victory of over 511,000 votes, which is over 66,000 votes more than his APC counterpart, Mr. Bola Oyebamiji. And like I said in some of our previous episodes, I said, if the people love you, they will vote for you. And it appears that the people of Osun State love the current governor, Governor Adeleke, and they voted for him, even though APC brought out some big wigs. APC allegedly financially induced some of the voters in the state. Some voters got some money. Some voters got some food items, and some of them voted for the APC that gave them all those things. And some that collected those things still voted for Governor Adeleke. So does this mean that Nigerians are starting to wake up? Does it mean that the Nigerian people are going to wake up, and if they decide to support the current president in 2027, they will? And if they decide to support other opposition members, they will, but the people are talking about is that the president allowed this to happen because he's a true supporter of democracy. Prior to this event, prior to this election, the president has done some positive things that made him look to be impartial in this election. He stopped the EFCC from freezing the account. A lot of people are saying President Tinubu, they're seeing this as a win for President Tinubu, and the governor has come out and reaffirmed the support for President Tinubu in 2027. So, what do you think about these wins and the decision to reaffirm his support for President Tinubu?
Yes, I think this is a win for the people of Osun State. Um, they spoke and they decided who they want to lead them. But I don't want to believe that this win was out of free will, that people really voted for him massively. I want to think that they were both buying on both sides. So it's a case of, who rigged past, I think that was the case. Or I think I have two theory. It's a case of I rigged past you, or it was a negotiated win. The reason why I think it was a negotiated win is because if you really followed the election upload yesterday, I think for almost 6 hours, there was no movement. They uploaded up until I think it was 6 p.m. Nigerian time. And from that point to like almost at midnight, there was no activity. And I think it was already 93%. Maybe, perhaps, I could be wrong. Maybe they were negotiating behind the scene. Maybe negotiation was going on behind the scene. Okay, we'll give you this. Give it to me. Don't give it to me. That is what me, Elvis, is thinking. Okay, that might not just be the case, but it will really take a lot to convince me that it took less than 6 hours to upload the 93%, and it took another 6 hours to upload the 7%. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but that is what I'm thinking that happened. Maybe behind the scene there was negotiation going on. Maybe Oyebanji was saying, you need to give me back the money I spent, just like in the case where Iyabo Obasanjo is asking Yayi to give her back the money that she has spent so far so that she can step down for him. That could have been the case, but I'm not absolute. This is just speculation on my part. Moving away from that, I think that this is good for people, but for anybody that is thinking that this is going to be a template for 2027, I think the person is mistaken. For one, the kind of security coverage you saw yesterday would not be available for the presidential election. It's not going to happen because the election will be taking place in the 36 states of the federation. So we all know that, by-election is always problematic. The federal government always, will I say, over deploy security agencies. They try to militarize it. The people, the party in power at the federal level always try to take to strong arm people and, collect it by force. This is not me dismissing the political strength of the Adelekes. I think they have a very long political history. His father was a senator. His late brother was a senator. He himself was in the Senate and became a governor. This is not me diluting his political strength, But then again, it will be very difficult. Like I said before, it will be very difficult to convince me that it was not a negotiated win. I don't want to take away from his, from his hard work, but it's appearing to me, it's appearing like a negotiated win. You take this one and you give me that. That is exactly what I'm thinking that happened. But on the whole, I think it's good for democracy. I think it's good for the people of Osun State. I think this is a lesson for a lot of politicians that feel like the people are always in their pocket. They can always, take advantage of the people. The people are somewhere, waiting for them to, to give them instruction to act. People actually fought for Adeleke, even though I'm saying that it looks like a negotiated win. But it looks like people actually fought for him, not because he's been, he appointed 3,000 people as a as a as the assistant, personal assistant. But I think because he's doing the bare minimum, the most basic things, that the people need, just like a paying salary, working for the people, putting up infrastructure, no matter how small, how little it is. In comparison to probably the previous administration, he's probably doing almost 10 times better than the previous administration. So the people have no choice than to see that something like that continues. Okay. So I think it's good for the people. It's good for the people of Osun State. It's good for him as a governor. I think the reward for good work is always more work. They feel like he's doing something. I think what they are expecting again is more work for him to do more for the people of state. I cannot comment on this without mentioning the influence of his of Davido. Davido literally did a lot for him, even in his first election. And then this one, he almost, if you don't even know, you will probably think that, Davido is his child. He really did a lot, put himself forward. This should be the relationship between, uncles and stuff like that, But some uncles are busy beefing you, making life miserable for you. But this is what it should be about. You should be able to go to work for your uncle, when your uncle is good. But on the whole, I think this is a lesson for politicians. Do right by your people, do what you are supposed to do for your people. And when it matters most, your people will fight for you.
Yeah, I get your skepticism about the win being a negotiated win. It's possible it is because a lot of people thought APC were gonna pull it off in Osun State, but unfortunately, people still voted for both parties. But more people voted for Adeleke than the APC candidate. So it could have been negotiated, but at the same time, you can't just underestimate the work that the Ocean State people did. You can't underestimate the work that the governor did and Davido, like you said. You can't underestimate the work that all of them did. And at the same time, there were people that were saying that the Accord Party didn't financially induce their members or didn't financially induce people to vote for them. We don't have first-hand knowledge of that, but based on what I've seen online, it's possible that they might have induced their party members, or maybe they didn't do it. But it is what it is. The election is already won. And congratulations to the people of Washington State. Congratulations to Governor Adeleke. Hopefully, it won't disappoint the people that voted for him. Hopefully, he continue to do the good work that brought him in, and it'll continue to put smiles on the faces of the Osun State citizens. But one thing I do want to add is now that Governor Adeleke is back in office for the second time, I don't want to see EFCC stop that investigation. EFCC needs to follow through and let the people truly know if those transfers were done legally or if they weren't done illegally. So someone needs to be held accountable so the EFCC can still regain the trust of the people, because they came a few days before the election, before the account, and the president spoke up for him, which a lot of people believe that helped Adeleke instead of hurting him. And the APC party could have used that to campaign against him, but the allegation of corruption is still out there. And a lot of people want to see, I do want to see, and most people from Washington still want to see that allegation true? And if it's true, who is CFCC going to hold accountable for this? And would those funds be refunded back to the Ocean State people?
Of course, you know that After election, there is no campaign. The case with the EFCC is a dead case. There was. I don't want to sound too optimistic, like too absolute, but I want to. I believe and I know for sure within me that that was a political hack. There was nothing to that case. There is no substance to that case. So election has been won and lost. Case is gone. You will never hear about that case again. That's the end. Like almost like the case of Fada Usi. Is that what they call him? I think that case is going to die a natural death too. Those are the things that came with the election, and they will go with the election too. You will never hear about those two cases again. But it's unfortunate that we are weaponizing the institution, not just institution, not just like any other institution, but a law enforcement institution. Weaponize it and try to use it, to play politics. Is unfortunate. I think Nigerians should do better. I think we have a lot of psychophancies, psychophants in Nigeria. There is a chance that the president was not aware of that move by the EFCC. I want to give him the benefit of that. There's also a chance that he ordered that move and tried to solve, created a problem and tried to solve the problem midway. There could have been a case of that, but currently I'm thinking that he wasn't aware. Somebody was just being overzealous, trying to, to prompt themselves to make the president see them, like a loyal person and just put that move. It could have been the EFCC chairman. It could have been somebody under the EFCC chairman. We never know, but whoever that did that, let that be the first and the last time that they will try that. There is need for, for political opponents to have a level playing ground so that the people will have a chance to choose who they really want to lead them. I still want to say it, Adeleke's win is a decisive win. 19 local government out of 30 local government. He won 19. The closest rival won 11. So it was a decisive win. The reward for good work is more work. I think whatever he did in his first time, I think he should continue to do it because the people really showed out for him. But I also believe that it was a negotiated win until somebody proved me otherwise. This is not me trying to dilute his hard work, but it does appear like that with the, about 7 governors, maybe 8 governors in the state yesterday. The Senate president was there. The deputy speaker of the House was there. The deputy Senate president was there. And you want to tell me that he put it off because of this is maybe I'm overthinking it, but it still looked like a negotiated win, to me. But we'll keep an eye on it. If that was really the case, the news will break at some point. For now, we'll congratulate him and, I wish him good luck, and I think he should continue with what he did. Whatever that ended the second term, I think he should continue in that line. So let us know what you think about Adeleke's win, and we'll be happy to engage with you in the comment section.